Welcome to Dig Deep, the mining podcast. In this podcast, we go deep into mining news, hot topics, and live interviews with mining professionals and leading figures in the mining industry. Introducing your host, Rob Tyson, founder and director of Mining International and Mining International Executive, a leading global mining recruitment and headhunting agency.
Hi mining community, welcome back to another episode of the Dig Deep, the mining podcast. And today's guests are Oscar Louzada and Rayiez Bhoelan, who of Sranan Gold, who are a Canadian exploration company advancing their Tapanahony Project in Suriname, Ghanaian Shield, targeting multi-million-ounce gold deposits. They're going to give us an overview of the company and of their project, and also what Suirname mining jurisdiction, what that's about, also the collaboration with Dr. Dennis LaPoint and how they're engaging their local communities. I also want to give a shout out to our sponsors, Hawcroft, who are leaders in property risk management in the mining industry since 1992. They offer insurance risk surveys, construction risk reviews, and asset criticality assessments and more. Working across 600 sites globally, Hawcroft supports all areas of mining and mineral extraction. So if you're looking for any property insurance risk management services, then please visit their website at www.hawcroft.com, and all the details are in the show notes. Oscar and Rayiez, how you doing? Welcome to the podcast.
Yeah, thank you, Rob. Very good, thanks. All as well.
Yeah, good to hear. So I wondered if you can just tell us a little bit about yourselves, both of you, as we always start these podcasts. So I'll start with you, Oscar. Just wondering if you can just tell us a little bit about yourself and a little bit about your background.
Yeah. So I spent the last 20 years in London and recently moved back to the Netherlands, where I'm from originally. I used to be an investment banker for various UK outfits and also Canaccord Adams in London. Did that for many years, and then at some point joined one of our corporates in Uzbekistan, who was trying to develop a phosphate deposit. And instead of continuing work in London, I thought Uzbekistan might be a good break from the city, which I did. I joined them. A difficult project. Phosphate is all right, but Uzbekistan was a very, very difficult jurisdiction, especially under the previous regime. One of the guys that was looking to fund that project was a Dutch mining engineer who worked at BMO, and we teamed up and decided to set up our own little shop. And both being Dutch, we ended up in Suriname, a country where very little exploration had been done before. But a country with great artisanal gold mining, two majors, Newmont and IM Gold back then. They recently sold their project to Zijin Mining Corp. And that was, 2013. That's when we did our first little gold project in Suriname. I think we got introduced to the country through a Dutch Surinamese geologist who was teaching at the Technical University in Delft, which is, as some of you might know, one of the leading universities in terms of mining engineering and geology. And that's how it all started about 10 years ago, and then bumped into an American chap who was sent there by Alcoa about 26 years ago, actually. And more recently, with this new project we're developing, Rayiez Bhoelan joined us. So we're currently in the process of exploring the Tapanahony Project, or actually further advancing the project. But I'll have Rayiez talk to everyone about the geology and the potential there.
Yeah. Rayiez, just wondering if you just tell us a little bit about yourself and a little bit about your career.
Yeah. Hi. So I'm Rayiez. I'm a Surinamese geologist. I was born and raised in Suriname. I got my training and my education and most of my work experience in Suriname. I was in my early days. I started off at IM Gold, where I was part of the regional exploration team. I was part of the team that fast-tracked the Saramacca deposit. So I was very used to really greenfields projects. Um, I am quite adept at understanding the weathering profile in this part of the world. Um, and after about 8 years, I joined Dr. Dennis LaPointe in his endeavors and basically joined the junior market. Worked for a year in Guyana for all my gold mines, and then came back here, did a few projects, and we focused a lot more on the structural geology of orogenic gold deposits, together with Dr. Vincent Combs, who's my friend, and I was with him I think a year at Antino with founders, and until I was approached again by Oscar and Dr. Lapointe. And yeah, here we starting Sranan Gold, new
Hmm.
exciting project in one of the oldest and most gold fertile parts of the Guiana Shield in Suriname.
And most underexplored.
Yeah.
Quite underexplored.
A-
Yeah, yeah.
And as you're probably going to allude to, so just wondering if you can just give us an overview of Serang Gold.
Yeah, the project was so we were aware of this project for quite some time. It covers 29,000 hectares in the same district where two other juniors are operating. Founders, obviously, being the largest one, and then Miata Metals. So a couple hundred kilometers down from Paramaribo. It's seen extensive artisanal mining, and I'm Gold even did quite a significant amount of work on that project up to 2012 when they decided to drop it, when I'm Gold was struggling with Rosebell and was opening up Saramacca, and so they decided to hand it back. It was then acquired by a local businessman who mined it together with the locals, and but hadn't really access to all the data and all that kind of stuff. So through the contacts in Suriname, we got in touch with the owner, did a deal about 6 months ago, bit over 6 months
Yes.
ago, and since it was reasonably advanced, I mean it's early stage, but it does have some decent drill holes. There's lots of data available. We decided to list it, and we listed it in Canada 2 months ago, 2.5 months ago, and got picked up the backing from some pretty significant shareholders in Canada, also in the Netherlands, surprisingly. And we're going to start drilling in the next month or so. We've got 2 drills on their way, and we're going to plan on 10,000 meters.
So why don't you just tell us or give us an overview of Suriname as a country, and I suppose also as a mining jurisdiction.
Yeah. Rayiez, do you want to?
Yeah. Suriname always has had we've had a long history of mining. Mining has always been one of the pillars that has driven the economy. In the past, it was the bauxite industry. Gold was always around there, but it really picked up, it was it 2012, 2013, when the price really spiked up. And, from there to now, we've had two majors mining um, in Suriname. There's also, the small scale mining, which I think their production is on par with these majors. So there's a lot of Brazilian miners. A lot of local people are also getting more experience and knowledge in mining it. And throughout the years, there have been a significant but small group of local people, such as myself, um, being trained into, the gold exploration and gold mining side of business. Suriname is, I would say, an overall mining friendly country. There's also a lot of misconception about mining. Some is just, some is unjust. But and we are lucky because we have the right geology for gold deposits. We have the right geology for world-class gold deposits and many other metals. Right now we have the oil and gas booming. So natural resources, I think they are here. They're just to be found, and it's looking good, in that aspect
Mhm.
for us. Yeah,
It's certainly getting a bit busy now, isn't it, in country? We've
yeah,
Because when we started about 13 years ago, there was us and one other company called Hunter Bay Minerals, which was a UK company. But I think we're now part of a group of about five juniors listed, five listed juniors, and one privately exploring in Suriname. So it's certainly it's got its day in the sun. And let's see where how many in the end will be operating in Suriname.
Yeah.
Certainly
Oh
getting
yeah.
exciting now.
I mean, and maybe I forgot to mention a bit. One of the older companies that actually, did a lot of exploration for gold is the Golden Star, which was in the 80s and 90s, and they're the ones that kind of pushed and made many of the known deposits recognized prospects nowadays. So it comes from their early work.
Yeah.
How do you perceive the future of gold exploration in Suriname and also the broader Guiana Shield region?
Well,
Um,
Guyana is pretty well explored. Um, Suriname is next. I'll bet that there'll be uh, some other companies trying to enter. And we've seen this over the last couple of years. There's now five. There's one private company. There's rumor has it that there's another one boarding a flight soon to Suriname to start searching for assets. So yeah, there's certainly for the next 10, 20 years, Suriname could be absolutely booming.
And I suppose what makes it attractive mining jurisdiction, obviously from your perspective, and as you mentioned, there might be someone coming coming to the country soon. Why is
Yeah,
that? What's making it attractive?
I think the fact that it's so underexplored, and so one of the guys that we work with mentioned recently when we were having a dinner in Suriname a couple of weeks ago. So the official production in country is a bit over 600,000 ounces per year. And that comes from two mines, the Newmont, the Marion deposit owned by Newmont, and Zijin's Rosebell mines. But unofficially, there's about 1,000 kilos a month being mined and exported. 1,000 kilos of gold that comes from local communities, and that's absolutely fabulous. This, so it's obviously there. No one has done a lot of work in that country except for I'm Gold and Newmont. So there's so much to be found still, and I think that I've been there for 13 years. Rayiez is obviously Surinamese. Dennis has been there for 26 years. I do think that yeah, we'll be able to advance this and pick some interesting projects over the next couple of years.
And a question for Reyes, a little bit more technical. Just wondering if you
yeah,
can elaborate on the significance of the Tapanahony Gold Project and its obviously potential in the Guyana Shield.
yeah. Well, the Tapanahony Gold Project, it's in the eastern part of what we call the Marawana Greenstone Belt, which is very highly fertile for gold, and the area has been known since early exploration to have the potential to host 5 to 10 kilometers long zones of gold mineralization. And within a zone like that, you can easily put in 5 pits, each containing 1 million ounces. So it's just the magnitude of the structures and the geology that's there, really warrants proper exploration. And when you look at satellite imagery of what artisanal mining has done, it's just astonishing the potential that hides there. So as a country, we're lucky that we have the right rocks, we have the right structures, and the right geology for this type of mineralization.
And how does your team's experience, obviously, and including collaborations with experts like Dr. Dennis LaPointe, contribute to obviously exploration success?
Right, as you go on that.
Yeah, I think the advantage lies in the fact that we are used to the local environment. Suriname is a tropical country. We have a lot of laterite, we have a lot of saprolite. So to be able to effectively explore in this type of terrain, you need to have quite a good understanding the rocks and what happens to it in this type of environment. So you're comparing apples to apples and oranges to oranges. In exploration in this part of the world, it's always important to be able to follow up on the right anomalies. Gold is everywhere, but quantifiable and mineable gold, to find that, it's another ball game, right? So you need to really understand the environment, the logistics that goes around with it, the people knowledge, because we are a very diverse country. We are also a very friendly country, but every area has its own challenges, and I think because we are from here, Dr. LaPointe has been here for more than 2 decades. We know how to adapt to the environment very well, so that gives us the advantage. Yeah.
Yeah, I think unlike other juniors that might use outside help, I think our team is just completely Surinamese, which is obviously very helpful. And
Yeah. And how is the logistics and infrastructure in and around the project?
well, we're lucky to have a river running through the concession. We've got a little airstrip, which is
Yeah.
helpful. But overall, exploring in the jungle, in the bush, is difficult. And as I said, with the river runs through the concession, so we're moving everything through barges and boats. We can fly in and out with a helicopter, and the little airstrip we have, which we will need to extend a couple of meters. Um, but the bush pilots can land there and get stuff on site.
And how is the Sranan Gold engaging with local communities, obviously particularly with the Ukan Maroon Nation, to
Yeah,
ensure inclusive development?
yeah, exactly. Rayiez, you're
Um,
up for that.
so Well, we are very close by communities there, and the approach that we have is that we, as a company, we have the potential to do some exploration, do some research, and if all goes well, create something that will have lasting impact on the communities. So right now we are we're boosting the economy by using services. We are approaching labor in whatever capacity they have available for us. That's the stimulus that we're kind of bringing into the community. They're always part of the conversation, and we are always respecting their laws and their customs, and trying to provide work opportunity. And in the long term, if and whenever we discover a substantial mine, it will also be to the benefit of the local community first. So that's the approach. That's our mentality and also they have a lot of knowledge about the logistics and the area there. That's always beneficial to us.
Yeah, agree.
Can you discuss any initiatives aimed at obviously supporting the local economies and obviously preserving culture heritage within the regions that you're going to be operating in?
Um, we've held since the start. We've held a lot of kurutus with them. A kurutu is like a little gathering with the chiefs, and they have a certain way of doing it. And our job was to convey the message of why we are there. We are, for example, right now for the boat transport, only using local guys, and through their organization and their leaders, we make sure that we are giving equal opportunities to everybody to do business with us, to trade with us, or we buy vegetables and stuff like that. So
Mhm.
that's kind of the stage we're at right now. Yeah.
And probably a question to you, Oscar. What are sort of the key milestones that the company's looking to achieve sort of over the next 12 to 24 months?
So we're going to start our drilling program. Initially, we were going to drill 1,500 to about 3,000 meters on the existing Phuket trend. But after shooting LiDAR towards the end of last year and the interpretation coming back in March, we've uncovered a couple of parallel zones, which makes this project already bigger than we thought. So instead of doing that little drilling program, we're now going to do 10,000 meters and hopefully the way this looks now with Rayiez and his guys in the field, this might be quite a substantial project. And what are we going to do? 12 months of drilling? We're going to start with 10,000 meters. Hopefully that will be done within 4 months, 5 months,
I think 4.
4. Yeah. Well, that's
Yeah.
positive, isn't it? 4 months, and then we'll do another one for the next 4 months. No, but it's basically drilling, trying to delineate a resource at some point.
Yeah. And lastly, is there anything else that you like to add, like you like to inform our audience on? Anything that you haven't said so far? Whether it's investors listening to this or even people within the mining communities, I just wonder if there's anything else that you'd like to add.
It's absolutely a brilliant country, and there's lots of opportunity. And you do have to, I think that being Dutch, we grew up with the Surinamese in Holland. We've always traveled to Suriname. We always holidayed in Suriname. So the relationship between the Dutch and the Surinamese is quite tight. So if you do show up, you do have to adapt to their mentality, their way of doing things, which, as I said, as a Dutchman, is fine. But just don't march into that country on your private jet, because it doesn't work.
Yeah.
You'll upset them.
Rayiez, anything else any closing words that you want to add?
No, I think the country maybe it is a moot point, but we have a vast potential for natural resources, and the geology is there to support that. And I know that because I've been working for more than a decade as an exploration geologist. And I would say right now oil and gas is buzzing. We are talking about gold, but there's much more. There is a possibility for many different metals and commodities, and it's a very friendly country. We're open to foreigners. We have great food, and it's a nice tropical place. It's just the logistics, and it's not that accessible. We're part of the Amazon forest, but that, I think, it makes us very unique, a land full of opportunities. So I think those are great things that are the world gets to see nowadays. So
yeah, right,
onwards and upwards.
Yeah. Oscar and Rayiez, thank you very much for your time. Thank you for sharing your story. Thank you for obviously telling us about Sranan Gold, and obviously Suriname as well as a country. It seems there's a lot of opportunities there, and it looks like you've discovered a big opportunity, and now it's obviously developing the project. So if our audience wants to reach out to you, if they've got any questions, and especially if they want to follow the story, how can they go about doing that, and what social media platform channels are you on?
With your website, obviously, which is being rebuilt at the moment, but there's one up and running. We do stuff on Twitter and LinkedIn, obviously, like anyone else.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you want to know more, give us a call. Send an email.
We'll include those all in the show notes of Companies podcast, so anyone can reach out to you and obviously follow all the news flow and ask any questions that they've got anything. So thank you very much.
Told me there'll be sufficient news flow. Interesting news flow.
Well, all the best for the remainder of the year. Good luck with the drilling campaign. And hopefully you can come on later this year or beginning part next year and give us an update on how everything went.
Yeah, in about 4 months. Sounds about right, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does.
All right.
You put him under pressure now.
Exactly.
Yeah. Thanks, guys. Right. Thank you for listening. Hope you enjoyed that episode. As always, appreciate your continued support. Please keep sharing these episodes far and wide. It's a great little story here that Oscar and Rayiez have just explained, and a country with so much opportunity and undeveloped. So appreciate if you can keep sharing these episodes far and wide. Thank you for listening. Until next time, happy mining.
Thank you for listening. Remember to reach out to Rob via the show notes, and be sure to subscribe and leave a review. Until next time, happy mining. helping each other to improve the mining industry.